as far as the futures market is concerned, everything to me looks. I'm gonna have some thoughts on the AFC. Everything to me looks about right. We'll see where prices come out. I don't think that there's a long shot worth taking. You're not going to get much value in the market with Dallas now. I don't see it with the Eagles' offense. I just don't think that they have enough offense to make a run in the NFC without a bye against how good and deep the NFC is. So
their net point differential is like 6 on the season. I mean, Dallas is like plus 90 and points for, points against. So the Eagles just offense just can't get it going. How do you expect them to make a run? And Peterson's taking a lot of heat. Like, it's just not there anymore. The play calling's not there. The execution on offense is just not there.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings, I still don't trust their defense fully. I like their defensive line, but their secondary, especially their corners, and when they're going to be going possibly against Breeze and Wilson and Rodgers and Dak and the 49ers, like, I don't think that they can win 3 games in a row to get to the Super Bowl with that defense. But they're a really good team. Everyone that's going to make the playoffs, besides potentially the Eagles, I think is a really good team. The Eagles could be, but injuries have killed them. So I'm just sticking with my Packers future from the preseason in the NFC. I hope that they get the 2 seed. I certainly think they're flawed, and they have flaws in their run defense. But if I can get Rodgers with a bye, and then game, and I just need to win 2 playoff games, I like my chances. I don't see any team worth backing the futures market in the NFC. How about you? Anything in the NFC?
No, I mean, in the NFC, I mean, you're right. There's not going to be any value in the Cowboys. I would look at the Cowboys because they're going to get a team in the Seahawks or the Niners. It's going to be on a hangover, and if it's the 49ers, they'll have travel up to Seattle, lose that game, have to travel down to Dallas. Dallas will more than likely end up being a dog of a point or 2. I mean, they're going to be a dog of some sort. I doubt they'd be a favorite over, the loser of that game. And so, I would tend to think they would win that game and they would make themselves into the divisional round. And I don't like the Saints' position whatsoever because it seems like they're going to end up, having to go to Green Bay and play outdoors. And with Kamara kind of banged up and the record of the Saints outdoors on the road, I don't like that at all. So, I mean, I think you're sitting fine at the Packers. I mean, I can't think of any long shots here. I mean, there's no value in the Cowboys, and I don't think that the Eagles can beat them. So, the Cowboys are the one that I think could be the team that actually gets into the NFC title game just because of the great situation they're going to be in hosting the 5 seed.
Yeah. It's what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, they certainly have the offense for it. They just need to clean up the little things. Don't say kick, say defer. Don't kick it out of bounds. Mm-hmm. Jason Garrett, don't mess it up. Their offense is there. The offensive line is there. I mean, they just came out and bullied the Rams today from start to finish. There's still some questions on the defense, but the talent is certainly there with the Cowboys. And, if they're they're hosting their first playoff game, as you alluded to. AFC, yeah.
You don't think they heard Troy Aikman talk about how, there's rumors flying out about how their roster is completely overrated? I heard that sound bit this week, and I thought, boy, is this going to fire the Cowboys up this weekend against the Rams?
Yeah, they came out. You got to give the Cowboys credit. They came out fired up and remained fired up throughout the game. All right, so let's move on to the AFC, which it's a little clear. You have the Ravens sitting at 12-2, and they will play the Browns this weekend. I'll be there in Cleveland, and then they will close out the season at home against the Steelers. The Steelers are going to be Ravens fans this week because if the Ravens win this weekend, they clinch the 1 seed, they clinch home field throughout, and they could rest everyone in Week 17 when the Steelers might need to win. But it looks like the Ravens will have home field throughout, because they're 1 game ahead of the Patriots. They've already beat the Patriots. The Patriots are sitting at 11-3. Division's still not clinched because they're 1 game ahead of the Bills, and those 2 teams will play each other in Foxborough next weekend. It's a great weekend in the NFL next week. The Bills currently hold the first wild card spot over the Steelers, and the Bills have locked up a playoff spot, and they've got the 10 wins for the first time since 1999. So congratulations to the Bills, the Seahawks, the Packers, the 49ers, all of you clinched playoff spots today. And then the Chiefs are sitting at the 3 seed. Remember, they beat the Patriots, so they could easily, if the Bills beat the Patriots, the Chiefs could still sneak up and get a 1 or 2 seed. So that's still up in the air. But as of right now, the Chiefs would host the Steelers, who are the 6th seed, even though they're tied with the Titans. And then you have the Colts are at 6 and 7. They have about a 1% chance of making the playoffs. Doesn't look like the Colts are in. So the Titans are going to need help from the Steelers. But as of right now, the Chiefs would host the Steelers and the Texans would host the Bills in the AFC. Talk about a lot less appetizing first weekend options compared to the NFC. In regard to this futures market, look, there's no value left on the Ravens. I mentioned this potential weakness on – first of all, they're so healthy. So knock on wood, but that's part of the reason why a lot of teams are able to win a Super Bowl. Part of it is health luck, right? You have to stay healthy. Your quarterback has to stay healthy. They've been extremely healthy all year. So we hope that continues as Ravens fans, but that you could always introduce a key injury or two here. But I also mentioned that weakness in the slot, which could come up in the AFC. And the biggest thing to me, though, is you see – I mention this every week on NFL podcast. The biggest advantage that the Ravens have, their special teams are obviously great, even though they had a bad game on Thursday. Their defense is really good. But and then Lamar and their unique offense, their offensive line, they shock teams, right? So they come out, teams aren't used to Lamar's speed. They're not used to seeing this offense, and they get out and they get a lead. And then what does that do? They're able to then blitz everyone, play man up on the outside, play aggressive. Teams can't run it as much, which might be the Ravens' weakness up the middle. And then they can just run the ball and just let Lamar do his thing. Well, Lamar is still spectacular throughout the whole game, but then teams are a little better at containing him and trying to adjust his speed. Well, all these teams in the AFC, whether it be the Steelers, who've seen the Ravens, so we'll see the Ravens twice. The Texans have seen the Ravens. The Chiefs have seen the Ravens. The Patriots have seen the Ravens. It happened last year with the Chargers. The second time around, when they saw Lamar Jackson and they saw this offense and they were able to prepare for it, they completely shut him down. Now, Lamar is much more accurate now, and the Ravens have evolved as an offense. Their defense is better. But I'm just saying it will be of the benefit of these teams that could potentially see a Ravens team the second time in the postseason. So I don't see any value in the Ravens to make the playoffs. The team this Patriots offense still don't see it. Right. It just showed us against the really good teams that it's just not there. Now, they could find it, but I haven't seen anything worth backing with their prices in the futures market. Can the Bills and Josh Allen make a run through the AFC? No, I don't think so. Josh Allen is remarkably improved, and Duck Hodges is not going through the AFC as well. I don't believe in the Texans' defense. So, who's that leave by default? The Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think that if a team is going to beat the Ravens this year, they've seen them before. The run defense is really bad. But the Chiefs, Mahomes is going to score on that Ravens defense. And, he doesn't mind going outdoors in the weather. He showed that, and they'll probably have to go to Baltimore. So if you're looking for a future with the Ravens priced as high as they are with all the Ravens love, I'd potentially look at the Chiefs here. That's the other team that I could see coming out of the AFC. And a very top-heavy AFC, and I just don't believe in this Patriots offense right now as the other team at the top. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I was going to completely back you up on the Chiefs because, if you go and look at their advanced stats, they were 13th in defense on Football Outsiders coming into this week, but they faced the number one schedule of offenses in the entire league. So that does kind of affect the numbers a little bit. Stuck's right. They're 30th in the NFL on rush defense, but they're 6th against the pass defenses. So, they're, sixth best pass defense in the league. They can't defend the rush whatsoever, but when you have Patty Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, he cleared concussion protocol today. So I know that he was injured and came out of the game, but it looks like he's going to be just fine and no missed time. So I think Stuck's right. I think Chiefs are the way that you got to look, especially with a defense. It's one of the best in the league against the pass, and they face the number one schedule of offenses. So I'm not saying they can catch Lamar, but at least that their pass defense can maybe hold serve.
Yeah, and they've seen Lamar once, right. So that it only can help. For seeing him the first time with preparation and maybe coming out with some unique scheme to try and slow him down. But it just, as a defender, seeing that shock value of Lamar Jackson and that Ravens offense, seeing it once before in the season can only serve as a benefit, and that will most likely happen with multiple potential opponents for the Ravens in the playoffs.